Alright guys, ladies, I know some of you had questions about how I did these patterns for the project that we're working on right now. Some things that you would need: this is called a plastic canvas, and they come in different shapes and sizes, but this was a circle that I had that I just basically trimmed down for the purpose of our video, just so I can kind of show you how to get started and give you some tips on some of the stitches. Some of the other ones that I've done that I know you guys saw was, I did this one, which is more of a holiday type scene. This one is more kind of like winter related because it's got the snowflake there. I've got another one that I'm not quite finished with, but I just think it's kind of funky and cool. It's got lots of bright colors and details, but it's also symmetrical. So if you look at both sides, it's the same on both sides. But what I wanted to show you on this was how to actually get started with an idea. I mean, you could do anything. It doesn't have to be winter related. It doesn't have to be holiday related. It can be, whatever you want it to be. It could be like, you could do your initial on here, or you could do something to do with another season, or you could do a flower, or you can do, I've got one boy right now working on a baseball. So, really, it could be anything you want it to be. It doesn't have to be, and it doesn't have to be round, and it doesn't have to be completely filled in, as I have learned through kind of like doing some research and looking at videos and stuff. But anyway, I'm going to make this one kind of like an ornament just for the sake of time. And I'm going to keep it a pretty simple pattern. So once you get your needle threaded, okay, and I will show you how to do that real quick. I'm going to pull mine off here. Use just whatever color yarn you're going to start with. You want to make a loop on the end, and then you're just going to kind of pinch that loop like that, so that the yarn will go through the eye of the needle, and that gap right there is called the eye. And you're just going to push that yarn through like that. So the loop is through the eye, and then you've got this short tail, and then you've got this long piece. Then what you would do is you're going to take this little tail and you're going to push it through the loop that you just made. So I'm going to rotate my needle so you can see me doing that. I'm going to push that through like that, and then I'm going to pull the short tail and the long tail kind of at the same time. So that cinches down, but it's not a knot. It's not something that you have to cut off later if you've made a mistake, okay? So in order to get started on stitching this, my recommendation would be, you can start on the side or you can start in the middle. It doesn't really matter where you decide to start, as long as you, start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on this edge. I'm right-handed, so, I'm starting on the right side. And from the front, I'm just going to push my needle through to the back, and I'm going to pull until I have a little short tail. Now, I know I'm going to do this entire section orange, and I'm not going to be changing colors. So it's okay that I have my tail on the front of this instead of on the back. If I was going to be changing colors a lot, I would have this tail on the back so I could hide it. But I'm going to hide it on the front. So I push through this one, so I'm going to come back up through the one right next to it. And because I want to hide this little piece of plastic in between these two stitches, let me zoom in so you guys can really see what I'm talking about right there. And hopefully I don't move it out of the screenshot here, but there's that little plastic bit still showing right there that if I were to go stitch through here, I would still see that, and that for me personally will drive me crazy because I can see it. As an artist, being able to see that, or you as an artist, you know, if that bothers you, you know, you're going to want to hide it. So I've got my needle here, and I am just going to scoot this yarn out of the way, and I'm going to go diagonally across to this hole right there. I just came out this one, so I'm going to go into this one, and it's going to put my stitches kind of on a diagonal, which is fine because it helps to hide this round plastic piece here in the middle. Okay, it's going to like hide it. So I just went into this one. I'm going to come up through the one underneath it, and I'm just going to push my needle through, and it takes, you know, a little bit of wiggling. Okay, and as you can see, that has already cinched this piece of tail down, and it's going to hold it in place for me. So now I'm just going to move over to the next one on top. So I'm going to push my needle through the top like that, and then I'm going to come back up right there through the one underneath it right there. And I'm using the counter to help push here. So there's that. And then I'm just going to go again diagonally across to the next one. And I set up this diagonal stitch by going through the front and then through the back again, and then going across diagonally. And the diagonal, I just like that diagonal stitch because it hides more of this plastic canvas, okay? And, you know, I don't want anybody to see how I get my work done. I just want them to see my work. So I'm just going to drop below that. Now, these holes are going to get smaller, so it's going to be a little more of a challenge. But so I'm just going to look up here. I just finished that one, so I'm going to go in this one. And there you can kind of see so far how it's starting to look. It's really starting to hold that tail down, and it's starting to fill in that section that I wanted it to. So I'm just going to continue like that, going all the way across. And then I'm getting close to the center here, so these are like really getting small. So let's see, where did I just come out? So I gotta go down here underneath it like that. And diagonally again. And directly underneath that. And I'm just going to go in through the center now. And underneath that. Until I get all the way across. When I get all the way across, I'm not going to sit here and make you like watch me stitch every single one of these. I will show you how to start a next row. So for now, I'm just going to hit pause so you can see so far, and then I'll come back when I get to there. Okay, so I have gotten all the way across here, and I wanted you to see when I reach the other end what I did, so I am able to start on another row directly above it. So I had been coming across here, and this was what it looked like while you guys were watching me. I was working, and all I've done is I've just spinned it around so you can see what I am doing. But I just came out of this hole on the back, so I'm going to go directly above it and pull through so I can do another diagonal to there. And I'm going to pull that. And I'm not pulling really, really tight, remember, because I want that yarn to stay kind of fluffy so it fills in over those plastic spaces between the holes. So I just came out of here, so I'm going to come back up through here, right here, this last one below it, right there. So I'm going to pull that. And in order to start the next row above it, I'm going to go directly into this hole. And this one I am going to pull a little bit tighter because as you can see a little bit of that gap right there. And you can see some of the plastic right there kind of showing. So when I come out this hole, I'm going to go straight back up into it. So basically I'm just going to loop around. I came out of this one and then I went into this one. So I'm going to come back out the same one so that I can go diagonally to there. Okay? So let me show you what that looks like. I'm going to pull this through because I just looped around. And so now I'm back in that same hole and I'm going to cross over to that one. Rewind the video and watch that again if you need to. I mean, just watch it as many times as you need to so you go, oh yeah, okay, I get it now. So, and then I'm just going to come in from the back through this one. Even though I've already been through it on this first row, there's nothing that says I can't use that spot again. So I just went diagonally into that one. So I'm going to come back up through the one below it like this. And what happens is, I will show you, grab a couple stitches here so you can see how that looks right there. It's like you can't see the plastic, and it's kind of convenient that the stitches are all kind of going the same way. I mean, they don't have to all go the same way because sometimes that is actually quite interesting if they're going different directions. And this one especially goes in a lot of different directions. Like, some of these are going this way and then some of these were going this way. And that was kind of a blessing because I hadn't done very many of these at this point. So this one was kind of an experiment to see if I even like doing it or not. But it gives you an idea of, you can even control the direction of the lines with this stuff. So, all right, so I just went from this hole to this hole diagonally. So I'm going to come back up through the one right underneath it. Oops, not that one right there. Make sure you can see what I'm talking about. Like that. Again, the one right below it, like that. And so on and so on. Okay. And you can just do that, if I wanted to. Now, let's say I didn't want to go all the way across. What if I wanted to just fill in these 4 and then come back and fill in these 3 and then these 2 and then this 1? Well, I could do that too because I just came out of this one. Then I would come from the back up through this one and then I would go back into that hole. You know what, and I'm just going to do that just so you guys can see that in any moment you can just change your mind and go a different direction. So here's this one. I can go there. Okay. Oops. See, I am not perfect, y'all. Okay. Whoopsie, let me unstitch that because that was not what I meant to do. There we go. So I need to come up through this one. I'm just making sure you guys can still see me in the video there. Okay, and then I would have to go back through that same one so I could cover up that white plastic gap right there. So if I wanted to, I could go this direction, and I could change the direction of those lines just like that. You see that? Pretty cool. And then I'm going to come over to this so that I can do my diagonal to right there. Okay. I come up to the next one, go down through the next one, come up through that one, and then go down through that one. And then that leaves me like a gap right here. And you know me, that's going to drive me crazy because I can see that little bit of plastic. So I'm just going to come up through here and then go down through that one to hide that plastic part right there. Just like that. So I don't see it. Okay? So I hope that helps get you started. The one thing you can do, like if you were going to just do maybe a little bit more here and you decided you were going to want to change colors soon, this is what the back looks like, okay? And this is what the front looks like. Let's say I wanted to change my color right now, okay? And my string is over here on the side like this. What I can do is I can turn it over to the back, and I can just run a few stitches like right through that, and then I can go up through this one, okay, and then I can go back. Maybe I'm going to go under one of these if I can. Will it let me? Let's see if it'll let me. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to go under that one. So I did that 1, 2. This is my third time. Okay, and now if I want, I can cut this right here because I've stitched through this 3 times in different places on the back. I can just cut that now because that, unless I just take my needle and pick it out, it is not going to come undone. So I'm going to switch back to the front, and then I can just pull this off. And I can change my color. I think I'm going to go with yellow. So I'm just going to fold this over. Same thing. Lay that in there. Send it through the loop and pull my little tail and my long tail so it cinches down for me, okay? Then I'm just going to come back here and think, okay, well, I stopped right here, so I could do another diagonal from this spot to that spot. So I'm just going to find where that location is right there, and going to push through, and I'm going to leave a little tail on the back because I'm going to stitch that in, okay? So I'm pinching it with my finger back there. I'm holding it in place. And I'm going to go from here diagonally over to here. Okay, because I've got 1, 2, 3 rows here. And I've got to do at least another row of yellow before I can come back and meet this 3rd row. So there's that one. So I'm going to go in to this one, and when I pull, don't pull too hard, remember, leave it fluffy, and then I'm going to come back up through this hole underneath it right there. I'm going to pull it kind of tight so I can see, and then you can kind of fluff it back up. So I'm going to pull that. And I'm going to go diagonally over here to this one. Like that. And then I'm going to come up through the one right below it. Where is it? There it is. Right there. And then I'm going to go diagonally to the one above that. And what I'm doing is on the back where I'm holding that in place, that little tail in place, you can see those stitches that are going to hold that tail. And I don't have to, I'm going to focus this again. Hold on, guys, because I think it's getting out of focus. There you go. It's going to hold that tail in place for me because I'm kind of stitching it in as I go. So it just kind of disappears. So, you know, really the first thing you have to do is decide on, you know, what kind of a design you want to do. Okay, and then if you need to draw it on there with a Sharpie or something, you can do that. But as you can see from this video, you know, it tends to rub off. It's coming off on my fingers and stuff. So, I mean, if you could do it without it, that would be fine. But if you want to draw it on there just for the sake of kind of knowing what direction you're going to start in, you know, you could do that too. It's fine. There's no real wrong way to do it, okay? So I'm going to go below, right through there, get myself across here diagonally, and so on, okay? So, you do not have to watch this entire video, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this kind of a curve because I kind of see like a sunset thing happening right now, and I'm kind of digging that. So I think I am going to like stitch this one in and then stitch this one in so I get that curve. Because the nice thing about doing something on a round canvas, plastic canvas, is the fact that, you know, I have those curves that I can work with if I choose to. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to follow along right through there. I got to fill in those three little guys right there and then get these guys across the top. So I'm going to go back into this one because I just thought about using the direction of my stitches just now. And you see what I did? I pulled that too tight and left this huge gap. So I took my needle, make sure you guys can see that. I took my needle and I just kind of fluffed that string up because I wanted to fill that hole, okay? So I'm going to go to this one next. Like that. And then I'm going to go to this one underneath right there. Make sure y'all can see that. There we go. I'll pull that one. I'm going to go to here. And I'm not pulling too tight. I'm leaving that fluffy. Then I'm going to go to here. So with this one, you know, this hole is going to control that diagonal, but it's also going to control this diagonal because what just happened is I'm about to switch from the left side over to the right side. So I'm going to have to use that little hole twice so that it's going to look kind of like a little V right there. So I just wanted you to be prepared for that before you watched this. So I'm going to use this hole one time right there. I'm going to fluff that one up a little bit. I'm going to go through that top one. Okay, and then I'm going to come back up through that same hole right there. Okay, you see my needle there? Right there. So I've got like 3 stitches going through that hole now. So it's going to get a little snug. Okay, now I can go over to this one. Make sure you can see that. Okay. And then I'm just going to go down to the second hole here, right there. It's already got a stitch through it, so it's going to be snug. there. And then the one right below it, right there. And that one. And then the next one, which is right there. Ooh, and I can see it right there. And that will finish that half of the sun. So let me fluff that back up a little bit right there. There. Let me pull this tail down to the bottom so you can see. So there is like half a circle there. And what I would probably do now is I'm going to come up. Let me see, where was I just at? I'm going to come up through here. Let me make sure it's not too blurry because I know I'm moving around a lot. So I'm going to go right there so that I can go straight into here. Right there. You know, honestly, I think the hardest part on doing these is just getting started and knowing how to like put the first row in and what you can do to hide all the little plastic spaces that connect, you know, the hollow spaces, and, you know, how you can make that look, you know, a little bit better. Like right here, I've got this gap, you know, and I know I need to get over to here. I also need to fill there. And I just came out of that hole, so I'm going to come back up through this one. And I need to use that same hole so I can come up to this one and I can hide that bit of plastic at the same time. Because, and I can hide that bit right there. I keep looking to make sure y'all can still see what I'm doing because I know I'm moving around. So I am up through there. So I'm going to go through here. No, I'm not. I just made that mistake. So I'm going to unstitch it. See, y'all, I'm not perfect either. Okay, so I'm going to go back through here. Yeah, that makes more sense. Move my arm. There we go. There. And see, I like how that looks like it's like going out towards the edges. I just think that, you know, it looks like the sun, you know? So, and then I'm just going to go right there. Because that's the next space below it that I can get into. And there. And then come up to the one next to it, and I'm going to go back into that same spot again. I've got to do kind of like that little V because I'm switching back from the right side over to the left side. So, I mean, I could just keep going, but my rays are going to go straight, and I want them to go out. So I'm going to V right there. See how I went here to here and then here to there. So my next move is going to be to come up through this one right there. And down and up and down. And right where the orange and yellow meet. That's where I'm going, right there. So I can see a plastic gap right there. So I would probably, I'm going to unstitch that because I just don't like how that looks. So I'm going to pull that stitch out, and instead, because I know that little plastic piece is going to show if I go into this one, I'm going to go into that one, or maybe I just need to leave it fluffy. Let's see, maybe I need to go into that yellow one right there. Yep, I think that's what I need to do. Instead of the orange, I'm going to go into that yellow one. Like that. And then I'm going to come up through this one and go to that one. And then that's what it was. I skipped that. So I'm going to go here. And then I'm going to go in right there. And that's going to finish that little sun ray. Yep, just like that. Okay? So, now if I wanted to maybe do red up through here, I could. Or if I wanted, you know, to do more yellow down here, I could. But I'm just going to show you again. You got to go through it 3 times, okay? So I'm going to go below it. I'm going to go once. And then I'm going to go find another bit. Maybe this direction. That's number 2. And then maybe from the top to the bottom, and that will be 3. And because, you know, I've been leaving my strings fluffy, that allows me a little bit of space for my needle, okay? And then I can snip that right there. Well, my scissors will work. Here we go. Snip that. And like I said, unless I just pick at that, it's not going to unravel. Okay? So here's back to the front. And that's what I've got so far. Okay? And then the last thing, like, once I got this finished, if you wanted to, you know, I haven't even talked about the edges yet. All I'm doing is, when I finish, whatever color I wanted to go all the way around, you would just, like, you know, start, you know, and pull your tail towards you, and then stitch, 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 stitch over the tail all the way around. And then when you finish back where you started, you would just thread it through and snip it. So I hope this helps. This is incredibly long, and if you watch the whole thing, then I hope that you're, like, ready to go. But if you just watch, like, the first part of it until you understood kind of how to hide your tails and how to, like, stitch in the directions that you kind of want those lines to travel, then I hope that that will help you out. And if not, you guys know how to reach me, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys. Have a good afternoon.